All right, so welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. Today, we are diving into the legal wrangling over Special Counsel Jack Smith's report on the Trump investigations.
Yeah.
It's an interesting situation because, well, you've got Trump's attorneys.
Right.
They're taking this to federal court, and his former co-defendants are also kind of involved.
Yeah, it's sort of a pincer move.
Yeah. So what does this all mean for the report actually being released to the public? What are the arguments, and what could this signal about the kind of the broader investigations?
Well, yeah, what's really interesting is that Trump's legal team is formally requesting that Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, block the release of the report. And the timing here is really unusual because it's happening as these co-defendants, as you mentioned, are also kind of taking legal action that's related to this report.
Right.
So there's a lot of moving parts here.
Okay. Well, so let's start with the arguments from Trump's lawyers.
Okay.
Because they claim that releasing this report could actually prejudice potential jurors
Right.
in the upcoming January 6th trials.
Exactly.
I mean, how much weight does that have?
Well, so imagine you're picking a jury, right, for one of these January 6th trials. Trump's lawyers are essentially saying that if this report is out there, it's basically like giving all the potential jurors like a pre-written script about the case, even if the information in it hasn't actually been tested in court.
Right.
So, their argument is that this could really unfairly influence public opinion and basically make it almost impossible to find jurors who haven't already formed an opinion based on whatever is in that report.
Okay, I see. So, but I mean, isn't there like a normal process for this for special counsel reports? Like it's not like they just throw them out there.
Right. No, it's not a free-for-all.
Okay. Yeah.
You can think of the special counsel almost like an independent detective who gets brought in to investigate these sensitive issues, right?
Right. So they go do all this work. They put together this big report, and then they hand it over to the attorney general, who's like the top lawyer for the country.
Okay.
And then it's up to that attorney general to decide how much of that report, or if any of it, gets released to the public.
Okay.
And so they have to try to find this balance, right, between transparency, but also protecting the right to a fair trial.
Okay, so Merrick Garland is the one who's making the decision here.
Correct.
Okay. Well, so I mean, how much weight do these concerns actually have about influencing jurors? Like, has anything like this ever happened before?
Well, this argument about prejudicing jurors is really interesting because it's kind of echoing a similar strategy that was used in the 70s during Watergate.
Oh, wow.
So Nixon's legal team actually tried to block the release of the Watergate tapes, right? By claiming that all the publicity that would come with that would basically mess up his chance of having a fair trial.
Okay.
So in the end, the courts ruled against Nixon.
Yeah.
But it really shows you the tension that can happen between transparency and due process.
Yeah.
That's a hard line to walk sometimes.
Yeah. It's like a legal deja vu moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we can't forget about all the other players in this, though.
Right.
Trump's former co-defendants.
Yeah.
How are they handling this report?
Well, some of them, they might be kind of in line with Trump's strategy.
Right.
To try to kind of bury this report. But then you have others who might actually see the report as a way to help themselves.
Oh, okay.
They might try to argue that parts of the report actually kind of downplay their role or shift blame to other people.
Oh, okay.
So, it's kind of like a big legal chess match going on with everyone trying to use the report to their advantage.
So let's play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Say the report does get released. What would be the worst case scenario?
Right.
Like, could this really derail the whole prosecution? It's possible, yeah. But it really depends on what the report actually says.
Yeah.
And then how the courts rule on whether that information is actually admissible as evidence.
Okay. Right.
So, for example, if this report has, like, really explosive revelations, right, that are considered prejudicial by the court, it could lead to mistrials or even, some charges getting thrown out entirely.
Right.
So it's a high-stakes gamble for everybody involved.
Yeah. I mean, that's why everybody is watching this so closely. And to make things even more interesting, our source did mention that CBS News reached out to both the Justice Department and Trump's legal team. But I mean, nobody's talking.
Yeah, that silence is that's pretty telling in a lot of these situations. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems like they're all kind of being really careful about how they're playing this
Yeah.
because they know it's such a delicate legal situation.
Okay, so just to recap, we've got this tug of war over the special counsel report. Trump's team is trying to keep it secret.
Right.
Some of the co-defendants might be trying to use it to help their own cases.
Yeah,
And the Justice Department's kind of stuck in the middle.
exactly.
So is this report ever going to be released?
Yeah.
And, I mean, if it is, what effect is that going to have on these trials that are coming up? And, just the whole legal landscape.
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, this whole thing really does raise some questions, about the balance of power between the executive branch
Mm-hmm.
and the courts.
Right.
And just how transparent things are,
Yeah.
when you're investigating people in power.
It's a really important issue.
So that's something to think about as this drama unfolds.
Definitely.
So that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us. We will be back soon with another deep dive.
See you next time.